And I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. One of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, bad movie futures. Hello, bad movie lovers. If you're listening to this, you are a card-carrying member of the Resistance. Thank you so much for deciding to support the show. I can't wait to bring you more exclusive sub-series here at Bad Movies We Love, but this series, Bad Movie Futures, takes a look at contemporary films that are either getting hammered by critics or hammered by audiences, and we try to project whether or not those movies have futures as good movies or are destined to be relegated as bad movies forever. And for this episode, I was joined by a trio of filmmakers to defend Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride as we talk about the most divisive film of the first quarter of 2026. It's a long one, so strap in and enjoy. This is going to be a very special episode as I am joined by three filmmakers to talk about the most divisive movie of the year so far, the first most divisive movie of this year. And we're here to push back against the narrative that The Bride is a bad movie. So I'm joined today by Alyssa Brayboy, Joel H. Brewster, and Topher Graham. Welcome.
Hi, welcome.
Hey.
Thank you.
This is going to be interesting. I've done some quad boxes recently, so I'm a little bit better at managing the overall space. I think I want to gather sort of initial impressions. I mean, obviously, we're all here because we like the movie. I invited some people that didn't like it to come and talk to me about it, but that didn't happen. So fortunately, we're all in shared agreement that The Bride rocks, and we're going to stand up for it.
Yes.
So
I was pretty upset that you wanted to do an episode like bad movies. It's not bad.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because the thing that I use as a barometer for whether or not I can talk about movies is I sort of aggregate scores. And when I initially did, it came out at a 64.1. And so about 10 minutes ago, that would still be in bubble territory where it's like, okay, like I can bend the rules. It's my show. I do what I want. But about 10 minutes ago, I was like, let me run the numbers again, because I am curious to see if it went up or it went down. It lost 4 points. So now it's down at a 60.1. So it is barely above the threshold for what I would generally allow to be on my show in proper form. But I don't know about you, but for me, I am kind of like loving the fact that people think this is a bad movie, because that means I kind of like get to have it to myself in a way. Like, not really, obviously we're all here, but I'm like, oh man, I found this thing that I really enjoyed, and a lot of people hate it, and that kind of just makes it more special to me. I don't know. Am I a weirdo?
It does seem like it does seem like it's destined to be a cult classic, like something that people discover a little ways down the line. I mean, I was excited for it. I went to see it in theaters as soon as I was told that there was going to be a remake of The Bride of Frankenstein. I was already sold. Everything else that came on top of that, and I mean, from like the preparation from the trailer to the actual movie and how much stuff just kept getting piled on top, I've been enjoying the ride the entire way.
So I went in completely blind. I went with a group of friends. It was last minute. I had no idea what this movie what it was. A friend was like, "Oh my God, can we go see it? Please, please, please." We've got it's IMAX and we're right up front. And I know you hate that, but I really want to see it. And I was like, oh, why? And then I got sold on Maggie Gyllenhaal directing, Jake Gyllenhaal in it, and Christian Bale. And I was like, okay, all right. And oh my God, am I allowed to curse? I forgot that is
fire away.
10 minutes in, just fucking obsessed. Jesse Buckley, my mind was blown, and I just so many moments throughout the movie. I am an extremely expressive person, and I typically don't watch movies in theaters. I watch them at home, or I do my best to wait and pick a time where it's not that full because I cannot contain myself. And I am that person that sometimes like speaks out loud in the movies, and I try and be a good girl, but I am starting to give less fucks. And so I just so many times I'm like, Alyssa, like I'm like, it's so good. I'm so fucking stoked. So many moments, and I agree with you, sneezing wolf, in terms of going to be a cult classic, and it's going to take people time to warm up and understand and really break it down and like fall in love with it over time. Like I loved it right away. And it was like from jump, the first things out of my mouth throughout the movie is like, oh my gosh, this is giving Poor Things meets it's like Maggie's her own secretary in a way. I didn't see secretary until last year. And I was like, where have I been? What is and just I'm just obsessed. There was one more movie that I compared it to, and it just went like I just lost my train of thought because I got so excited in this moment. But yes, I'm obsessed with this movie. I love it so much.
Yeah, for me, it feels like the same sort of vibe of what happened with Jennifer's Body, about how Jennifer's Body wasn't really appreciated as much in its time. And now like it's interesting to be like it's in theaters right now. We're watching this. I'm like, wow, this is kind of interesting to because when I first saw Jennifer's Body a long time ago, I was like, oh, I like this movie a lot. And then like, the conversation about everything about film kind of changed. And like years later, Jennifer's Body is being more appreciated. And with this film, like to be cognizant of that and to like see that in this time, be like, wow, it's really weird to see how audience missed this. But right now, watching this bomb and then watching another one of my favorite movies this year, Bone Temple, 28 years later, Bone Temple also do poorly at the box office. I don't think I'm going to forgive audiences for a long time right now. Like, I think I'm just mad at audiences right now because I'm like, how are these like two movies that are like so fantastic, both directed by incredibly talented women, and they just didn't do well at the box office, and I don't understand it. And with this movie, it's so stylized, it's so cool. There's so much about it that I'm like, I hope comes from it in a sense of I hope that the look of it like transforms like into like protests and everything like that because there's so many like cool things to take away from it. And yeah, I was just absolutely blown away.
It's interesting that this movie comes out in March. I mean, you mentioned Bone Temple, which kind of like sadly got relegated to like that beginning of the year slate where people are still swept up in catching up with stuff from the end of last year. Like award season talk has kind of wrestled away focus, I think, from a certain percentage of audiences. And then, we've seen a lot of kind of I don't know, stuff like Megan 2.0 or the first one. I mean, look, I liked Megan when it came out. Like it was fun, but like that sort of popcorn fodder type of movie became a lot more popular at the beginning of the year. So to see this come out like during Women's Month, to have the narrative it does, to be made by a woman based on the writing work of another woman, and to have the attitude that it does, I feel like it meets the moment in a way that I don't know if people are just not like grasping or if they went in expecting something that they didn't get. Because one of the most freeing things for me has been just like, I don't expect anything from movies anymore. The only thing that I expected from this is that Jesse Buckley's going to be good and Christian Bale's going to be good. And that's the only thing I needed. I was like, look, I trust the two of them. I trust Maggie. I'm going to go see what this is about. I obviously know that it's like sort of the Bride of Frankenstein, but I'm not holding it to any kind of bar that it needs to meet in order to like gain my enjoyment. But Alyssa, for you, like watching this in this moment, does it feel like it sort of like addresses the atmosphere in the room well?
Uh, oh my gosh, yes. There were so many moments that, like, after watching and what's going on in the world right now, and just it broke my heart in spaces because so much of the time, especially when it comes with women and especially with filmmakers of color, it it is proven that from jump we're expected to hit the ball out of the park, not just a home run, like out of the park. Everything has to fit a certain mold. Like the expectation is so high, but I'm like, what is that even? Like, what did you expect? What did you want? Like, why don't you like this? And I hate that stereotype, like not the stereotype. I hate the thought that enters my mind. I'm like, is it because it was directed by a woman? Is it because it's Maggie? Is it because, like her background as it is, she's already done so much with her career and who her brother is. And so they're expecting because of her status, but then also because she's a woman but to me, like it was spectacular. Like as a woman and as a Black woman and as a filmmaker, I was like, oh my God, thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Because as a woman in this world right now, there is so much rage that is radiating through my body where I just want to break things. I want to scream. I want to cry. I want to be a monster. I'm like, oh, you don't want to listen to me when I'm nice and when I'm a good girl and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So fuck you. I'm going to do what I want, when I want, how I want to do it and not give a fuck. And because either way, you're going to tear us apart. So I might as well just swing for the fence and you're going to tell me that I missed when I know that I didn't. And so going into it, having to remind yourself that you matter and your art matters and to, put on the earmuffs, put on the blinders, take a deep breath and continue to move forward in your art and your life and who you are, not just as a woman, but as a person. It really breaks my heart for Maggie because I could feel in every moment just how much this movie mattered to her and how much this movie matters to women and where we are right now in the world. It is so political and I'm so proud of her. And I'm like, yes, bitch, I got you. Like, I will show up to your movie so strong. Like, whatever you need, I'm here for it. Because she did the damn thing on this movie, and I stand by that.
Yeah.
I feel like the reaction, excuse me, which we'll get to a little bit later when we look at some of the actual sort of reactions, but I feel like this sort of like weird polarization that the movie has caused in a backwards way actually reinforces what she's saying in the movie.
Yes.
Like the fact that people like either love it or hate it, and sort of the middle ground is like, most people are like really taking a side. And I'm like, I think the people that are hating it is like, you're proving her point a little bit, in my opinion. But Joel and Topher, one of the commentaries I read, it was I don't remember exactly the wording, so I'm going to botch it a little bit, but there was disappointment because the movie was about men. And so I want to sort of ask you about that, but the way I saw it was that like it is and isn't. I feel like it's about our main character, but given that it is sort of Maggie telling this particular story and involving like Mary Shelley's backstory, that it's really sort of about like all of the pressures and all of the things that are placed upon the woman at the center of it. So, like, to me, I don't view it as a movie about men just because there's all these men that are involved in this woman's story.
But it definitely came from the perspective of women, and you can feel that. You can feel that it is a objective look at men. It's not from Frankenstein's point of view, for sure, or sorry, the monster's point of view. It is definitely from the bride and Mary Shelley. And we often forget, like, it gets so in your face right from the beginning, introducing Mary Shelley as a character and giving her commentary on how her work was perceived and taken into the like cultural space. I can see why it would be confronting, but I found that like just a really incredible, like unique place to put us in, and well deserved, well needed, just to come out after Frankenstein with such a like woman-driven story and woman focus. I mean, I was thrilled.
Yeah, it's a very interesting
Yeah.
companion piece to Del Toro's movie, and I think there's like a much larger conversation to be had about that, but we don't need to like get into all of that. But Joel, I want to hear your thoughts.
I was going to say, what's interesting too, the only movie I can think of off the top of my head in modern history that's, well, not only movie, but one movie that I think that would be a really fun double header with this movie for the whole conversation is the movie Man, which was also Jessie Buckley too. I think that was a really fantastic movie that kind of had a respect of that sense too. Granted, that movie was written by a man, but like in a sense of where the story went and the positions of power of men and how they affect women. I thought that was a really fantastic movie too to have this conversation as well. Um, and I know we're going to deep dive into the story, like into the film deeper into this podcast, but one character that stood out to me a lot that I was like obsessed with and I would love a spinoff too was Penelope Cruz's character. It's my favorite part because the joke I keep on making is like that Maggie Gyllenhaal said ACAB except for the smart genius detective Penelope Cruz, and I think that's so like such a cool way to do it like in this whole story. But yeah,
So I understand how people would see this at the surface and say that it's centered around a man. You know, Frankenstein wanted a partner, wanted a bride, and yes, and however, what it focuses on and what I took away from it is okay, yes. So much of our world today, like the patriarch, there's so much of a woman's life that is dictated by a man. That was not her choice. She's like, I didn't ask to be this thing or your part. Like, I didn't ask for any of this. It just happened. But through the course of the movie, we discover her and we discover her discovering and the choices that she decides to make. She chooses to be his monster, to be his bride, like, and realizing and falling in love with the relationship that they have and who she's become. And so, yes, I understand how at its core, it seems that it's about a man, you know, picking a bride, or it's about a couple, it's about romance. Yes, and it's about choice. She made a choice. And she made some crazy choices along the way. And he also stuck by her with those choices. Like, as they're like running around, like together, she ended up choosing him, even though she didn't have a choice. And so I hear everybody, cool. That's not how I view it. And I hope those people sit and look a little deeper at how Maggie took us on her journey.
To add on to that, yeah, it's really about consent too, which was a very, very important part of the whole movie because the bride herself throughout the movie like showed that like there was parts of her that were like very sexual and everything like that. But with that being said, there was parts where like obviously she was like abused and like it's really about consent of like who she was. And I don't mean that just in the sexual context, I mean that just as her character throughout the whole thing, which just kind of adds to what you're saying. But yeah, it's like consent was like a really big part of it that I thought was really cool how it was how Maggie told that story.
They kind of took us on an actual like deep exploration about her memory loss and how the monster was kind of 51st dates in her, and I and the actual consequences of that when it came out to light, like what was actually going on to her. I really appreciated that moment. Like, this movie takes a lot of big swings and has a lot to say, and maybe modern audiences just weren't ready for it.
And this is one watch. I feel like multiple watches we're going to pick up so many different things. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off the list, but I feel like multiple watches will get so much more too. Right now,
I feel like they're also a little bit afraid of it. It's a very it's a very in your face, holding a mirror up and just allowing like not holding anything back in telling this story. Just at so many points I'm sitting there like I'm on the edge of my seat in so many different types of tears. Like, there were times I was so angry. There were moments where I'm like just rooting and so excited and happy and giddy, and I just and that feeling, that roller coaster ride of emotions, it can be scary at times. And then also to be confronted with what's happening in the world, but in a period piece, you're like, wait, the same, but different. Like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. And so I'm uncomfortable. That means I don't like it because I don't want to dig further and I don't want to look at myself and maybe I don't want to think for myself. So I'm just gonna, go ahead and continue to say what everyone else is saying and either not watch it or not take a moment to sit in what that feeling is.
That's fair. And I also don't think, I'm sure there's probably at least some out there, but in terms of what I've found, I haven't actually seen like a well articulated criticism of the film yet. I've seen some like adamant criticism of the film. And before I move on, did you all see the mid credits scene?
What? I mean, yes. No, I sat through the whole thing. Like,
So,
refresh my
yes,
memory.
so it's like all the other women and the mob boss.
Oh, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
I almost had a heart attack. I was like, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
me too. I was like, what?
I was like, it like took me back to Marvel. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
So what I was getting at was that something you mentioned earlier, Alyssa, that I wanted to sort of pull at a little bit is that one of the criticisms I've seen is that the feminism is like it's too in your face, it's too heavy-handed, it's not subtle. But to me, it seems like a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of movie. And Joel, I'm glad you brought up Men because guess what? That movie has lower ratings than this one. And I could talk about it on this show. So it was met with the same sort of like apprehension around it. And so like I think that is kind of the natural like swing of the pendulum in that like you give Maggie Gyllenhaal $90 million or whatever to make this movie. She's not making a Christopher Nolan flick, right? She's not making a Spielberg flick. Like she's not necessarily going to make the kind of movie that we've seen given that kind of budget before. So we already know that that isn't going to be the case. So when she then sort of like already knows the trappings that she's walking into. She's been in this business for a long time, right? She's been acting, she's moved on to directing. She casts her own brother in this movie as like a sexual predator. Like she's very much aware of what she has to say and I feel like she's executing it very well in the film, but to me it was like it's sort of like a lose-lose for her with some of the audience and that kind of sucks because how often are we going to get moments like this? Like, is the studio going to greenlight her for another 90 million? Because yes, the movie bombed, but like a movie bombing doesn't make it bad. And
Right.
you not liking a movie, not you, but a person
Yep.
not liking a movie doesn't make it bad either. And the only two things that I've seen as like linchpins for the it's bad, it's terrible is that I didn't like it and it's a mess. And I'm like, yeah, the point is that it's a mess because look who's telling the story and what she's telling the story about. Like it was never going to be clean and neat. And guess what? If she came out and she made a movie where like all of these themes were very subtle, like she would get fucking flack in the other direction for like not being feminist enough.
Absolutely. And
Sorry, that
so
wasn't really a question, but
I know I was like, I agree with everything you said. And I'm like, what is the question? But yes, yes, and yes. And I am so hoping and she doesn't act well on the surface. It doesn't seem like I've been watching like different interviews that she's like actually I don't know if it was before or after, like there's been different things she's been doing Ryan Coogler lately in proximity media and on the surface it looks like she's still like, okay, you know what, yes, I've got my grown ass woman suit on, like I'm prepared for people to come at me, like head high, shoulders back, tits out, like let's go, right? But like I can't imagine what is going like on inside of her actually. And I hope she continues down this journey and doesn't get discouraged, because there's a piece of me that also believes she knew that regardless of what she did, people were going to talk shit, like that
yeah.
it was going to be, and that she just had to prepare herself, and um and she will probably have to find other ways to get other movies that she wants to get made down the line. It is going to come from like allies and not naysayers. And so it's going to be unfortunate to be looking at, you know, the numbers of how the bride did, like just right now, but also like we still, I'm like, y'all, we still have time. So I'm gonna need everyone to simmer down. Like they did the same thing with Sinners, and like the language around, you know, the first the opening weekend. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are we really doing this right now? It same. And so I hope that doesn't discourage her from continuing to direct. But I do agree with your sentiments.
I guess that leads me into like the question that I actually was going to ask from all of that was, as a female creative in this space, in this industry, you obviously are aware of sort of some of the similarities that she is dealing with. Like, as a creative person and as a filmmaker, as a performer, like, how do you sort of reconcile what maybe the audience like thinks they want from you versus like what you want from yourself?
Oh, that is a beautiful question because I do fight with that in so many aspects of creative expression in ways that I like. I used to think that I didn't care as much as I do. Um, and I sometimes put out there that I don't give a fuck energy persona. But I'm like, oh my God, no, you care so much. And and because I know who I am, what I want to create, and so there is that challenge because there are things that I've created. Like right now I have a reaction channel. And at first I thought I was like, oh, this is silly. Like, what in the actual fuck am I doing? I'm reacting like I didn't know what was decons. I didn't know what Disney Channel original movies were, and it snowballed into this thing. And don't come for me, y'all. I didn't watch a lot of like I hadn't watched any of the Marvels. Like I did Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But then like that was it. And so now I'm on a journey. I'm doing a Race to Doomsday, and I I found myself, even in my reaction channel, caring what my audience wanted and caring like how they wanted me to react to a movie, and and hoping that I would like it. And but then it got to a point, and I'm very genuine with my reactions. And I felt so awful sometimes when I hated a movie, when I was like, no, this is trash. Like, this is terrible. This is dumb. And these children are dumb. Like, and having to take deep breaths and like remind myself like, mama, like you are highly intelligent, highly creative, all of these things. So what if you say something that someone else doesn't like and so having to, even when I don't believe it, believe that I don't give a fuck, and have to remind myself. And that's almost the way that I find that balance, or remind myself that it's going to be what it's going to be, like, because no matter what I do, like, someone's going to be disappointed. Would you rather be disappointed in yourself, or do you want someone to be disappointed in you? I would rather someone be disappointed in me than me be disappointed in myself, and not be true to myself, not be true to my art. But it's a challenge. It really is, having to stand firm in that and find the spaces where you give less fucks, but you do give fucks, if that makes sense. Where it's like, okay, where can I be okay and not lose myself?
Yeah, you got to give the fucks to the right people, because like if everybody has them, then like you're gonna burn out your emotional bandwidth.
Right?
Uh, when
So,
when I first put out like the little snippet or whatever that I was looking for someone to talk to about this movie, like Joel and Topher, both of you were on top of it immediately. We had some discussions like right in that first like few minutes after you contacted me about sort of our perceptions of what is going to happen with this movie in the future. And I agree with you both that I feel like it's like sort of a cult classic in present time, where it's already sort of dividing and a lot of people are not going to see it for that reason. But as like filmmakers, when you see something like this on the screen, what do you admire about what Maggie did in her approach to this film?
it is so confrontational. And I do feel like Maggie knew that there would be a backlash, and I wonder if she was hoping for that loud, aggressive backlash that, brings in the conversation, because it is quite the conversation to have. I was really excited when you invited me to this podcast because there's so much to actually delve into, and it took such big swings, and like to watch it all. Each moment, there was never a dry moment in the theater, and you see so many things that have never been done before or confronted before, like the first sex scene when she goes for the blowjob and he rejects her after all this buildup about loneliness and wanted a companion and you're my wife, and and she goes for the big swing of like, okay, I'll be exactly what you want, but and it was just such a like jarring, pointed.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah, and then she did this thing where it's like a saying I use all the time of like tricking people to eat their veggies. Like when you do something that's like really entertaining and cool, and like you know what I mean, and like that's how like get the message across. I feel like Get Out did the same thing, right? It really does trick people to eat their veggies in that sense, and like Sinners did it recently, and I thought that like everything was so cool, but the message was so there. And it's funny you brought up the Marvel movies. The thing that I have a problem with a lot of Marvel movies or superhero movies in general is by the time I've gotten to parking lot, I've kind of forgotten what's happened when I go to see those in theaters. This had the opposite. I got to the parking lot and so much more of the conversation happened. I was talking to my wife, and like so much more of the conversation driving home was about exactly what was cool with the movie. Then I'm like, oh yeah, this part, oh yeah, this part. And I feel like it was like the reverse of watching so much of the like the modern movies that are out right now.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about it like right away. And like after I saw it, it was Thursday afternoon. And then like by Friday morning, I was like, oh, The Bride is really cool.
Yeah.
Like I kind of was excited for it, which I haven't been about a movie in a long time. And my excitement was rewarded. Like I laughed, I cried, like I felt like, the whole spectrum of emotions within that film. Like I felt her anger, I felt her pain, like all this stuff. And then what I was met with on Friday was like, this movie sucks. This is the worst movie I've ever
Yeah.
seen. And I was
I
like,
was so confused.
I was like, look, I get that I run a show called Bad Movies We Love, but at the same time, like if you listen to the show, I actually like treat all movies sort of with a even level of respect for the most part. And I was like, no, I trust my instincts. I trust my taste. This is a good movie. People are fucking tripping. I don't know what it is. But I think now, because I mentioned it, I might as well. Let's look at some of that stuff that I pulled, and we'll see if we can find any common threads here with this. So let's go to the bad first. All right. So this is Alex Phoenix. Don't know who this is. Don't know who most of these people are, in fairness. I just pulled what I could find via searching, and I'm surprised that, well, not surprised that a system like X is going to suppress a lot of things. But Alex says, so in The Bride, Mary Shelley's spirit travels through time and possesses a girl to tell a story about the fictional creature she created, but in a world where it is real and also not set in the period of the book, but in 1930s Chicago? Question mark. Girl. I mean, like,
I want to say boy bye, sit down, watch the movie again. Like it is the point. It is the chaos and like Shelley talking and looking and finding and trying, like the rage that is in her finally finding its way to a suitable individual and piecing all the things together. I'm like, "Oh, Alex, you're telling me you're not smart. Awesome. Great. Thank you."
Yeah.
Like I can't.
Like reading this, I'm like, I don't get how all those things that you just said, like all these things that this person Alex said, are a bad thing. I'm like, yeah,
yes.
that's like, yeah,
Come on,
these are cool.
storytelling.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Like, what a swing. Yeah.
With each additional word, I am more interested in the movie as
Yeah.
like an impartial observer. I'm like, wait a second. Mary Shelley's ghost, time travel, possession, 1930s
Yeah.
Chicago. Oh my God, I am so in.
Facts.
And that's just the surface.
Yes.
I'm like, why are you mad? Are you mad that you didn't come up with it? Like what? Like why are you mad? Like what?
Yeah.
I would have used this for a pitch. Like I would have actually used this for a pitch. I could see your producer seeing that and be like, yeah, 100%. That sounds good.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, if I had a production studio, I'd be like, sign me up. Let's go.
100%.
Okay, so here's another one.
Okay, I can do this. We can do this.
So this is a Spider-Man person, the Beyond Reporter. I've just watched The Bride, and it's simply the worst movie of the year and one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Excellent trailers for a 0 out of 10 movie. It's not the worst movie of the year, for sure. And
it's crazy.
Like, if it's the worst movie, one of the worst movies you've ever seen in your life, I mean, like, you just gotta watch more movies, Spider-Man.
And also, why don't you like it? You're just saying that it was the worst. Can you please expand on that? Like, one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone is going to say something that negative without an explanation. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why for come? Like, tell me more.
It's the just trust me, bro logic.
Right? I can't.
Yeah.
Well,
the trailer too, which was cool, I thought about the trailer, was that like I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, this looks pretty fun, and then it was like so much better than the trailer. But like there was so much more jammed in there than the trailer. I'm like, wow, I really undershot what I thought I saw in this like really cool stylized trailer. I'm like, oh, there's way more even depth than I even thought there would be from the awesome fun trailer. So yeah. I don't know.
That's wild.
I was sold already at the 1930s like setting because I just thought that was a really bold stylistic choice, but it was actually quite necessary.
Now I need to see the trailer because to this day I did not see the trailer. I went into this movie so blind, and now I'm like, I don't even need to see the trailer because the movie was fucking fantastic. I'm like, no, baby girl, go. Like now we need to watch the trailer because I kind of want to come for the Beyond Reporter. Anywho.
Yeah. Well, I'll make you a deal. When we get to the end of these bad reviews, we'll watch the trailer. Okay.
Oh hell yeah, that sounds good.
And I just want to say, because we're going to be looking at some of this bad stuff, like I genuinely don't really care if we have a difference of opinion, if we don't like the same movie. That's okay. That happens a lot. For me, it's like, it's how you choose to talk about the things that you don't like that sort of like gets under my skin, because it's like, of course we're not the same person. We're not supposed to like everything exactly the same, but like you don't have to be a jerk off. Like, you can have like a nuanced, criticism of something. So we'll move on and we see if we find one. Okay.
I will say, like, before we hop into that's like my whole page, like West Coast Strange. I don't have bad reviews on there because I haven't, like, I don't believe in that. And like, if there's and I see a lot of movies. There's movies I don't like that I see. I think the only time in like the years that I've had it on there I gave a bad review was to the newest Tron movie, and that's because Jared Leto was in it. And I'm like, that's fair. I can make fun of Jared Leto.
Yeah,
he's done terrible things to people, so that's fair. But outside of that, no other bad reviews.
It's like automatic minus points.
Yeah. The thing about these bad reviews, and I'm seeing it already in the first one, it's just it just shuts down the conversation. There's nothing to respond to. There's no dialogue happening. It's just, this is the worst. End of sentence. I can't argue with your opinion. I can only try and convince you that there's substance that you're completely missing.
Yeah, there's no conversation to be had. It's like, it's not even inviting of a conversation, which I think is the frustrating thing for me as somebody that really likes film, and that, like, I talk to people about movies all the time. Like, that's literally what I do. And I had to like get off of sort of having those conversations in social media settings, because I'm like, these are not designed for long form conversations. I get it. We're moving as a society towards short form content, but like, that's not who I am. And that's not what I do. So I just have to be like, yeah, it's not my scene. And here we like, let me get 4 people together and actually have like a fully fledged conversation about this movie. So let's move on to the next one. Unfortunately, a ton of bricks is going to catch stray here. I know this person, not greatly, but when I searched The Bride, this is what came up, and so I had to pull it. Says, I was hoping The Bride would be a secret masterpiece that everyone is wrong about, like Blonde, but boy, is it not. Didn't work for me on any level. Woof. At least there is an acknowledgement that it did not work for me. I will accept
Fair.
that.
Give
I will
that.
accept that.
Yeah, that's fair.
But my issue again is why? Why did it not work for you? That again with whatever reporter, Spider-Man person. And I made an observation. We've done 3 bad, correct?
This is the 4th, I think.
The 4th.
Yeah.
Each of them have been men. Is all I'm saying.
I was gonna ask if you notice any trends.
I do. I notice a trend. And then like on top of that, like because I have a reaction channel, so anytime that I've reacted to a movie and I do not like it, there's a conversation after, sometimes during, is like, this is why I don't like it. This is why it doesn't work for me. That was done poorly. I make sure, and I also like, I hated the Zombies franchise, Disney. Hated. I stand by it. It was god awful. I think it is a terrible way to teach children about racism and anyway, I don't want to get too full into that. But it's like, I'm explaining why it was triggering for me as a Black woman to watch these movies. And what was so irritating is the feedback. They're like, oh my God, you need to calm down. It's just a movie. It's made for kids, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's deeper than that, but you can go ahead. But again, they're like, oh, why don't you like it? You don't seem to be like, this is why I don't like it. And I have made sure to watch the whole thing, but also articulate why, so that I'm not met with that, oh, it's just bad and I don't like it. Oh, okay. What are we going to do with that? So a ton of bricks. And so far, yes, all of the bad have been from men. I'm like, oh, because you were uncomfortable. Got it. Copy.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're going to change directions. Go for it, Topher. I'm going to pull up the next one.
I wonder, it's so short and I wonder if it's just farming for like rage bait clicks. I wonder if, I can just make a simple statement, people will agree with me, this will get higher and higher, and I can get lots of likes, I can get lots of engagement. I don't have to engage with anything. I don't have to tell people why I don't like it, but now I can farm the rage of everybody who agrees with me. And
yeah.
Unfortunately, like rage baiting has become a common practice. This review, I think, well, I don't even know if it's a review. This comment sort of walks the line for me because I'm not 100% sure if it is negative or positive, but at least it sort of brings self-awareness to the table, which has been like lacking. Night Gardner says, I just watched The Bride and I feel like I've become radically detached from the concept of film. I no longer know instinctively what films do or how they think. I cannot imagine seeing the script and going, yes, that's what I was going for.
Sorry, I can say everything I almost touched my screen point. I can say everything up until the part where they say, I no longer know instinctively what films do or how they think. Up until like that point, I'm like, I still see that as like positive in my heart. I'm like, yeah, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how films were like, because like going to like that and giving me that emotion. And then when like I cannot imagine seeing this, that part, that's where you lose me. But the first part of that, I'm like, and I know they're saying it negatively. I see that part as positive. I'm like, yeah, I didn't know you could do a lot of the things that Maggie Gyllenhaal pulled off in this. And I'm like, that's a positive for me. Like that made me like rethink like everything for writing. Like, oh shit, you could pull the writer and put it inside the brain of like this incredibly talented future Oscar winning actress, because she's gonna win an Oscar this weekend, Jess Buckley. And just make it like this dual character there to tell all parts of your story. I'm like, God damn, that's really cool. But yeah, the last part here, this part, to be honest, the last part leaves me with, I want to read the script really bad for The Bride. I just need to see it.
Right. And part of me, when I read this instinctively, like, are you telling me you didn't understand the movie? Are you
100%.
Because I don't like, it makes me feel lost for you.
But isn't it just incredible that we can be surprised by films and that we can break outside of our traditional like 3-act structures and go into a film and not know how it's going to end, or not know how it's going to go, or not know what these characters are going to land? Isn't that like the most incredible thing that can actually happen? And this year, 2026.
I 10-10 agree, sneezing wolf, because I watch so many movies and throughout, and like lately, because of my reaction channel, so many times I'm like, I'm guessing lines, I'm guessing plot devices, and they're like, oh my god, Alyssa, you're psychic, and oh my god, you already seen this. I'm like, no, it's math. Like it's not, like some of this is really easy to piece together. It's not rocket science. And I love I absolutely love when I get lost in a film, when I don't know which way. I'm like, oh, you got me. Like, I didn't see that coming, and that was beautiful. And sometimes like I can still guess moments, but I guess them, but I'm still wrong. Like the way that it's executed, I'm like, yo, you did that better than I thought that you were going to, and I am shooketh. So thank you. Because that, it is rare, because so many of our stories, they are rinse and repeat. It's same, but different. It's just somebody else's notes, like someone else's way of telling a story. And I think that is absolutely beautiful as a storyteller.
And you said you're going through the Marvel movies right now. Like, how many of those movies are just like charming guy who's lost his father, gets some secret power, becomes the most powerful guy on the planet, and saves the world? Like, I don't know how many times I can watch that movie.
Yes, there's daddy issues, there's mommy issues. We ain't going to therapy, so we're gonna bang shit up. I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, how do you know? I'm like, because I read and I watch movies and I am a student of human behavior. Like, okay, all right.
The Avengers definitely need a psychologist on staff. All right, let me see. Well, the last line in this, where it says, I cannot imagine seeing the script and going, yes, that's what I was going for. So this is like unaware and uninformed, like on both fronts. So you don't think that the screenwriter, who was Maggie Gyllenhaal, would have been able to deliver the story to the director, Maggie Gyllenhaal? Like, it's what she was going for, because she fucking wrote it. Like, we'll move on from Night Gardener. Okay, I think that's the bottom of the bad reviews. But Alyssa, you very adeptly picked up on the fact that it's all dudes. And it seems like there is a pretty stiff divide between what I've seen specifically in reactions to a lot of men being very vocal that they don't like the movie without articulating any sort of texture to that opinion. And that's frustrating. Fortunately, we will rectify that a little bit. But before we do, I want to make sure that we watch the trailer as I promised.
Yay!
Nice.
Okay. We see this all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me turn off those captions.
Can anybody help me? Please. I didn't want this. I didn't want any of this.
Fucking good.
Please. Help. Help.
Yep, I still would have seen it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
100%.
You had an accident.
An accident, huh?
We dug you up, and we brought you back to life.
Get on stage, and I call her by
It's so fucking beautiful.
It's so
the
cool.
framing, like,
I'm the same, born from the dead. I am
Big right now.
monster.
Yeah, so am I.
very Bonnie and Clyde. That's what it was.
As well,
Yes.
there's a black hole.
The corrupt are going to see life is here and it's coming to you from the monsters.
Yes. Yes!
Everybody dance! Everybody sing! Everybody move!
Please don't hurt me, please. I'm sorry.
What are you sorry for?
Oh.
Did you do something wrong? Something you thought you might get away with?
Oh!
I'm getting chills all over again. I've already seen the movie.
Yeah.
Stop right there!
Oh,
We're all gonna have to go see it again.
Doesn't even scratch the surface.
The dead have got something to say,
yes.
and I'm saying it.
The bride of Frankenstein.
Ah!
Just the bride.
I want to see it again.
So many
Rehype me up.
So many things stick out to me in that moment. The dead have so much to say, and I'm speaking for them because for a while, women have felt dead and silent and quiet. And it's like, oh, but we have things to say. We're no longer dead. We're waking up. We're seeing what's happening in this world, and we don't fuck with it. And so that was so beautiful. And that's Florence and the Machine in the song, right? Like everybody dance. Ah, come on. Yes. And even the moment where Christian Bale and Frankenstein, it's like the bride of Frankenstein. She's like, no, the bride. I may be your bride, but I'm my bride first. The bride, me. Still love you, baby. Absolutely. We're monsters together, and that's cool, but I'm still my own fucking person. And like just little things, even just from the trailer and like the framing, the cinematography, the production design. I would have absolutely seen that movie if I didn't get conned into seeing it. Like, I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, such a great trailer. Like, yeah, people are mad right now. Men are mad right now. And I don't feel bad for them because you're gonna be mad for a while because not all of you, not all men, yes, but like there's been some fuck shit in this world at the hands of men. So guess what? We're mad and we have things to say, and Maggie is one of them. And I'm so fucking proud of her.
It really does feel like that. There's a lot of like revolutionary just anger and confrontation, even in the trailer, and you can feel it, and it just it gets me worked up. I'm excited.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking back to that sort of comment that I saw that gave it a low review saying the movie's about men. I expected more from Maggie. And I'm like, the best man in her life dug her up out of the ground without her consent and then gaslit her into believing that they had a pre-existing relationship. And it's like, granted, like she makes that choice at the end to still like have that relationship given what's going on in the rest of the world, but it's like this situation where it's like you're almost forced to like accept the lesser of the evils. And like I love Christian Bale, like he's a pretty charismatic Frank, but there is his intent isn't like solely evil, but he knows what he's doing is wrong.
Absolutely.
And we as the audience are made very much aware of that because he's given so many opportunities to tell her, like, I don't know. Like, I dug you up out of the ground. Like, so
even from her name, like you just really made up my name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just randomly too. Yeah.
Something
Tattooed
that
it to
he
his
liked.
chest.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I get you think that you made her, but she existed before you. We are whole before you. Do we choose you? Yes. And like, we should be choosing each other. And I do think that's where we end at, which is very exciting for me, that even though like there's also this element of grace that is shown. Women have so much grace, the ability to forgive, not forget, but like we forgive so much because we decide to choose love. We don't want like we don't want to be as angry as we are. Like angry is a real and fair and like powerful emotion, but at the same time we're like, you know what? I'm going to let go of being angry because I want to be happy. I want to forgive. I want to love. I want this place to be better. And so there's work that needs to be done. The anger has to come out. The healing has to happen, the breaking, the truth, all of the things. And I think a lot of men are upset with this movie right now because, Nick, as you just said, even the best man in her life dug her up and lied to her. And so it's like, so even then, the standard, you're telling me that I'm dealing with the cream of the crop? Are you fucking kidding me? But she chose to see and like move past that and be like, okay, but at your core, you're good. Like that, like we've done bad things, but you do bad things for a good reason. And you know what? I'll stand by you while you do that. I'll be like, we can be bad together. We can be monsters because we're being monsters for good reasons. And so I just, I'm gonna go see it again. Absolutely.
And
that forgiveness and that choosing to be with the monster is a really bold departure from the original movie and concept, which of course there's a lot of bold, but thematically we see a fundamentally like different uh, character choice.
Yeah.
I think the only two men that we see sort of not necessarily have happy endings, but who sort of have some grace given to them. Granted, they've done her wrong, and she's rightfully pissed off, and she should be. But Peter Sarsgaard's character, the
Mhm.
crooked cop,
Mhm.
takes ownership over the fact that he wronged her, as does Frank in the end. And it is through taking ownership and like accepting responsibility for the role that they played in like doing this fucked up thing to her on two different levels that
Yeah.
they are sort of given some sort of grace as the male characters, because the rest of them are all pretty fucking horrible throughout the rest of the movie. Um,
I I know you're gonna move on to your. I'll let you move on to the good comments too, but I just wanted to say, yeah, on the Peter Skarsgård comment, I thought that his role as the cop, as this is something I've never seen in movies either, is that him being the he was like how he mentioned himself, how he kind of like he was the guy that was like flirting with the other cops in a sense in his own way to get them to give him the information, and then like Penelope Cruz's character was just was like a genius. I thought that was really interesting, and I haven't seen that in a movie, and in a very well, I haven't seen anything like that in a movie before, where it was like I've seen movies obviously where a man is taking over like is taking credit for a woman's work, obviously, and that's what a lot of the concept of the movie was, and I thought that was a really cool way to do it in the story. But I thought that it was interesting the way that they did it with that cop story, especially with like woman of color, like Penelope Cruz in that side story, which could have been its own like movie in itself, which would have been really cool. And I loved her just like chain smoking away and just solving pretty much everything. I'm like, I want to put her to solve every crime. She put her like a Knives Out style mystery. She'd solve everything.
Yeah, set it back in 1930s Chicago, but like her character draws like this really cool parallel to what's going on with the bride
Yes.
herself, and that like they're both like even the monster sort of is facing all of the same things that like this professional like very capable woman is doing. So that's why like when we were talking about sort of the what was going on with Maggie and like the creative process, it is like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. She like literally puts that on screen. Like you can be the demure, polite person that does all the right things, that like does the job well, that has waited your turn for the promotion, and some inept bastard of a cop is still like, well, I'm going to use my privilege to sort of like go bro out with these guys and get the information we
Yeah.
need, and then I'll give it to you. But you know, it's the same reason that women wrote under pseudonyms for like so many years, because it's like they were just
Mhm.
never going to be like respected by men for that. And so that awareness, I think, really like fuels all of her like creative energy for the film. Like you mentioned, Alyssa, it's like she wants to scream because she's so pissed, but also like she doesn't want to spend her whole life screaming. Right. And
Yep.
I'm talking about Maggie here. Like
Yes.
she like got the opportunity to do this. I'm glad that she did. If it ends up becoming nothing more than like a huge sort of like rageful feminist waste of the studio's money, like I won't be mad at her for that. But because we got to see the trailer, I want to talk to you all, like as visual artists, about what the movie is doing, like just with what we see on the screen, because there's like a lot of like really cool old Hollywood techniques in there. Obviously, the costuming
Mhm.
is great, the set design's really cool, but to me, it seems like Maggie has like a pretty good Hollywood vocabulary, I'll call it, in terms of her like cinematic approach. What do you think?
We got to see the golden eras of Chicago. We got to travel to New York. We got to see them as vagabonds and runaways, and we got the incredible like sci-fi sequences. Um, it was a perfect visual look because we got to see so much that like even in these kinds of settings in normal movies, we definitely didn't get to go that big. And somebody might have taken this film and said, "Oh, we're doing 1930s. We're doing a noir film. We'll put it in black and white. We'll make everybody moody. She'll be a femme fatale." And like you've seen that done so many times, and never has it been so like celebratory. Even in the dark areas, like when they go under the train tracks and meet with the sex workers. I have never in such a way that's like uh fantastical, right? You don't,
Yeah.
it's not looking down on these people who are in a difficult. It was, no, we're celebrating with them. These are the best of society. There, look at how expressive they are. Look at how exciting this is. I it's the way that it took it to go big instead of really like honing everything in is, I think, the best choice that she could have made.
I'm gonna piggyback on that. For me, in her choices, it's the just juxtaposition for me, and I'm like, oh, you are speaking to my whole soul in the way that I also create and tell stories. It is, oh, I'm gonna take you there, and yes, it's beautiful, but I'm gonna show you like that it's also it's dirty and it's real and it's gritty. And so, yes, we had the sweepingness and the luxury, but then you had the moments where we're like, oh, oh my gosh, yes. So you got to see both sides of the coin, and there was a grounding in this 1930s big world, and then the moments where she's also making it small and grounded and real and gritty and gross. And like one of my favorite shots is when Jesse is falling down the steps, and you're like, oh my God, this is gorgeous and grotesque at the same time. I'm obsessed. And the way that she lands, so broken but beautiful. And so just the fabric, the silk dress that she's wearing, and just the way that she's laid, like it's beautiful, but it is like you are so like, oh my, like I didn't know something so broken could look so beautiful. And I love the way she pushed the envelope, like the envelope with that in so many aspects. Yes, she speaks to my soul as a filmmaker, and I'm like, bravo, thank you, because yes, so many times we have this idea of what something looks like, feels like, smells like, all of that, but then when you peel back the layers and you get down to the grittiness of it, like it's like, oh, sugar's not as sweet as you think, is what it was giving me.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, for me as the writer, I was just gonna say, sorry, I was so like entranced. For me as the writer, I thought that I need to see the script. I need to see how much of the Mary Shelley dialogue, like how that was written. I want to know how Jessie Buckley balanced the two characters. I want to know if those were just improvised. I just need to see the script. I'm dying. I need to know how that worked. Like it's all I could think of when I was watching it, because there was just like little lines that were just kind of thrown there as, and I'm like, I just need to see how she wrote that. And yeah, the look of the city was really cool. Then I thought the look of like when they were on the run, and the look of the like the sweeping fields and everything, that was really cool. The costumes were fantastic. The look on the makeup was iconic. If I don't see that several across Halloween next year, I might lose my mind.
I
That is a hell
literally
of a
sat in the
costume.
theater
Thank you.
and I turned over. I went with my friend Nick. I was like, I know what I'm doing for Halloween. This is what I'm
100%.
doing. And so many times throughout the movie, I'm looking at the splosh on her face, and my brain was like, it looks like a unicorn. She's a fucking
I
unicorn.
was gonna say that. Yes. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
So that was really cool.
Yeah,
But I'm
looking at
doing
the
it. Like
poster
I like
right
hand to
now.
God. Like I've already decided, and I'm planning it right now.
Yeah. See, it's like a unicorn. Yeah, that's all I could think of. I was like, oh, it's a unicorn. It's really cool.
She knew it would be iconic. That's why she made it part of the like movement at the end. Like
Yes.
it is an iconic look. Just the messiness of like splattered makeup.
I saw two movies that this like past weekend, right? I saw this movie and then I saw Hoppers with my kids. And I'm spoiler if you guys can see how well, it's not much of a spoiler, but the concept of Hoppers was also like a really anti-government message. And I was like, back to back, man, these movies are really getting me. Getting me fired up.
We need more of them right now.
Yeah. Yeah, the message of Hoppers was like kidnap your local mayor and make him care about the environment. I'm like, I hear what we're going for here.
Okay, I think now's probably a good time. Let's move on. I had a couple of friends who, when I asked for input, decided to chime in. So first, I'm going to share an audio clip that my friend and co-host for my sci-fi show decided to chime in with, and then we can take a look at some of the other stuff.
I have been dealing with some perimenopause issues, and running amok on the streets screaming brain attack feels like the song of my people. I love how conflicted the bride was about her insanity and violence. It was righteous and freeing, but also terrible and self-destructive. The dance scene before the shooting in New York was awesome. At first I thought it was a dreamlike sequence, like how Frank would imagine himself in the Ronnie Reed films. But when I realized the normal women were in reality joining in with the deranged dance moves, like the bride had infected them with her lack of restraint, I found that even more compelling. Frank is definitely the sexiest male character in the film, as the only one who understands and mostly respects consent. But I'm glad they didn't let Frank off the hook for the presumptuousness of digging up a girl and just designating her his bride, completely discounting her agency.
I love that. They're so concise, and I'm like, oh yes. And there are a couple of things that she touched on that reminds me. I'm in the middle of reading a book called The Women Who Run with Wolves. And it shares different stories throughout different folklore throughout different cultures, and how wolves are seen as becoming extinct, but also wild women, and that there's a wild woman like that we like it's in us, but society over time tells us like, oh no, don't be too loud, don't be too this, don't do that, you've got to be good, all of these things. And so like as she was explaining, she's like, I'm going through these changes, and there's something in me that is screaming to get out, and I'm angry, but I'm confused, and like I want peace, but at the same time, like, and it's so, you feel so pulled apart and trying to return to yourself and figure out what is right and who you are, while making sure you don't do harm to others at the same time, even though they've done harm to you. So that everything that she just spoke on reminded me of that I'm reading that book, and then also reminded me of the different aspects in the film that Maggie touched on, where I'm like, oh my God, yes, wild woman, monster, got it, yes, fuck yes. Yeah.
I feel like she carried that energy into her directing too. Like I'm sure a lot of producers were there. You got to make us a nice little like monster movie, and she was like, "Bet."
Yeah.
There's a great set photo that I almost used as my background, but I was like, I'll just use the movie poster. But it's in the bathroom, probably right before they're shooting the scene where Jesse is like meeting the other women. And she's like she sticks her tongue out and you see her whole tongue is black. So it's that, but like Maggie's in the shot because this is a set photo and she's like leaned in real close to the mirror and she's got this like grin on her face and I'm like that's the energy right there.
Nick, can you make me one more deal?
Yes, I'll find it.
And can you send it to me?
I will find it and I will send it to
I
you.
need to have it.
Okay, well, let's take a look at what we have here in at least the good section. Cody, CA on film. It's been 10 days since I first saw The Bride, and I'm still thinking about it. Honestly, one of the most fun experiences I've had in the theater recently. I loved every second of it.
Come on, Cody.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No, it's perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
I sometimes like so I have the only constructive criticism that I have, because I think it's fair across the board, because I agree with this 1,000%. I sometimes when people leave comments like this or like tweet something like that, I'm like, okay, but like, can you give me something that you loved? Can I get like, same with the like, okay, why? Like, what is it that was the most fun experience that you had in the theater? Like, can you share a second that you loved? I agree with sentiment 1,000%, but I'm going to say the same. If I'm going to say on one side, tell me why you hate it, can you tell me why you love it?
That's fair. And I mean, at least on some of these social apps, it's like, hey, our character count is limited, so I would love to.
I forget about that.
Yeah, so that's why
I'll give the argument of the pictures too. Like I'll give Cody the argument that at least with the say of the pictures with it, but I agree. Like with the pictures, like okay, yeah, those are all cool moments.
Right, and this is what you love. So cool. That's fair. Yes.
Yeah.
You'd be like, Alyssa, this is what I love.
The head here is really. I keep pointing to the screen. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
The head of the is so cool.
I love that shot. It's like it's so old Hollywood. It's like almost like a silent film era technique, and some of those interstitials where it like goes to black and we're seeing like this sort of like astral plane, like this ethereal world. I love how that's injected throughout the course of the movie, because it's like, well, the movie is happening sort of in this loose reality. Like there is also like this internal struggle that's going on, and like yes, it is amplified by sort of making it a possession story with Mary Shelley's ghost, but like, you know, you step back far enough away from that, it's like we all have kind of like an internal struggle, an internal monster that we're dealing with to some degree. And so to like make sure that that was included not just as a throwaway but as a constant throughout the film, like we keep going back to that rather than letting it go, letting us know that like this is like an ongoing thing. It's not just gonna like stop because like life goes on. Like we're all grappling with that in some way, and in the case of this character, like this is going to be something that she deals with forever. So I love that like it sort of mirrors reality in that way, but does it in like this super highly stylized choice. I mean, like the head inside the jar, you know, I think we've all probably had something like that, like in our thought process of like whether sort of we feel like unworthy or we're on display or like we're not as creative as we want to be, or you know, we're sort of the burden holders for how somebody else views us. Like I think those are all like very natural human things, and so to show it like this, I think is super cool, and I love that sequence in the film itself. And let's move on. I found that picture, by the way. I'll show you when we get to the end of this, and then I'll send it to you.
Nice.
Okay. Well, here's another one that has a picture. This is, I don't know if that Big Itties. Close enough, right? I can't stress this enough.
Nick.
I can't stress this enough. Ignore those reviews. The Bride is electrifying, and Jessie is as present and bold as ever. She's a powerhouse, and you can't look away. The more you hate, the harder her Oscar win will hit.
I shared this one too. I shared this one on Instagram, and you know what? As many people will say, like negative reviews there are, no one has said anything about Jessie's performance. I haven't seen one review that has said anything about Jessie's performance. So like, I fucking dare you. Like, no one has said a single thing. She's gonna be one of those actresses that in like 10 years, or already, I think she's like so legendary. But I think like in 10 years, it'll be like, you know, like the Go conversation, because like it's just back to back performances that are so stunning.
Yeah. There were so many moments, her Tourette's like moments throughout the film. I stared like completely out of my seat, jaw drop, like respectfully. I mean this, like from the depths of my vagina. Jesse Buckley, fuck you. You were amazing. Like I was like, well, goddamn. Like,
Yeah. That's why I need to see the script too. The conversation of back and forth was crazy. Sorry, Topher. I was just saying I need to see the script. I just need to know how, like, because there's a line that she says, and I can't remember the full line, but she says Mary, like just the name says Mary, and then she just ties that name Mary into the word Mary. And I just the way that she did it so quickly, I'm like, I need to see that screenplay. I need to see it. I need to see like the way that was like tied together, like conversationally with herself. I was like, I need to see that screenplay. Like I need it. I need to see it.
Joel, there were so many times I'm like, Topher, I'm sorry. Go.
She does it so naturally that like
yes.
you can it can be a one-piece throwaway line and you immediately know that it's from Mary Shelley and not from like it's so flawless and seamless and like a flag. She waves a flag.
So many times I had the same thought. I was like, I need to see the script. I need the screenplay because I need to know what was improv, what was scripted. Like I was like, at what point did she take it and be like, oh, this is mine. I got it, and just ran with it. So yeah.
There's also like a vocal intonation that she's splitting between the two. And interestingly enough, 2025 had probably like 7 or 8 actors that did dual roles of some kind. And so to see her do it this way, where it's like they're sort of like competing for the same space, like it's not easy to do what she's doing in this movie, and just like the vocal training you have to do to be able to like make sure that you're speaking in the right voice for the right line for the right version of the character. And then she's playing like maybe even a third character, because there's Ida, then there's the bride, who's like a combination of the two, and then there's Mary. So she's really kind of like doing 3. So I mean, yes, we'll probably see her win an Oscar this weekend, and then
and none of them in her accent either.
No, and then so maybe that will rejuvenate, people to go see this, because it's like, oh, the lady who just won Best Actress is going to have, a movie in theater. So hopefully that works. But let's take a look at what Josh had to say here. Said there's a scene in The Bride where Christian Bale's Frank starts having an anxiety attack because he needs to go to the movies, and I've never related more to a character in my life. And I feel so.
Yes, thank you, Josh. You know what? Yes.
I feel like this is sort of in conversation with people that are watching the movie, right? Because like he is obsessed with cinema. He has this reverence for Jake Gyllenhaal's character that is met with kind of like disdain when he finally meets him, the whole like don't meet your heroes adage kind of thing. So it's like he sees this stuff on the big screen and he like worships it and he shares it, and then like even though he does sort of like represent maybe that portion of the audience, like the film viewer, right? He still sort of like has trouble actually articulating a lot of things, and like doesn't take accountability until like the very, very end. And so I found it interesting that like, you both just mentioned like you feel like what this guy is saying, and like the sort of anxiety reducing ability of going to a movie. So the fact that like someone could pick up on that and be like, this is sort of like speaking to me in this way. Like, I don't think it's an accident to have this character who's like obsessed with the movies being a big part of the narrative that we're, witnessing here.
Yeah. I've tried to see a movie every week this year, in theaters, and I missed 1 week, but I saw 2 movies last week, so that balanced it out. And like, yeah, no, like, and I'm like this weekend too, like, all right, what am I gonna go see in the theaters? Yeah.
I bought a Cinepass, which gives me a free movie every month, so I am almost financially obligated to see a movie every month.
You're losing money if you don't.
Yeah, it's money out the door.
Whether it is in the theater or at home, the moment like you're seated, you push play, or you're like, okay, great. It's this feeling of like, okay, I can breathe, and nothing else matters in this moment. And so, like reading that and other, like with some of the bad, I'm like, even in that, like, for people who say that they love film and that, and maybe even have an idea of what it takes to get a film made, like, you're telling me you couldn't appreciate the fact that that was present in this film, yet you're still going to say, oh, it's terrible, I didn't get it and I hated it. No, that's not true. Like, you're just like, you don't want to like it for some reason, or you don't even, like, you don't want to acknowledge the aspects of it that you also, like, see in your own life, or that, like, that is a reflection.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny in all the negative commentary, I never saw anybody say like I respect this and Maggie's decisions here, but it just like didn't work for me. No one said that. It was all this other stuff, and so I'm glad we've moved on from that. But
Yes.
Brett Gallman, who is fairly popular on X, I come across his stuff a lot, says every now and then a movie like The Bride comes around and reminds us that social media landscape cannot handle a studio movie that's even a little bit odd. And obviously, we've seen that straight
Thank you.
away. So, social media is a tough place to sort of have like real conversations about cinema, but like there's so many like movie fans that are on social media that want to talk about movies, or at least like seemingly want to talk about movies. I love that he took the time to just acknowledge that like social media is not the world, right? Like
Mm.
what happens on X does not reflect the thoughts of everybody. And so like we all need to probably like take a breath and, realize that a little bit more.
I feel like he points this out that like the people who are hating the movie, they just want to be the smartest person who
Mm.
knows how the movie's going to end up, because I'm smart enough to predict the ending. I'm smart enough to know what the characters should be. I am the master in my theater, and the
Mm.
director cannot surprise me because I am uh, a cinemaphile or whatever it might be. And I feel like
Wow,
that's
yeah.
such a eh, dark attitude to have, because I think the greatest thing that this movie did for me was just show me that like movies can be different and movies can be art again, and we can be surprised. And I think that's the best thing that we can be, is surprised. We don't get a lot of like shots in the dark anymore because we don't have those mid mid budget movies very often, and people don't get to experiment or try with like new plots. And it reminds me a lot of like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, when I saw that for the first time and realized, oh, it doesn't have to be in order, it doesn't have to be um, for you. It can be for me as an artist directing a film, and you should be along for the ride.
I
Yeah.
felt like that when I saw Sinners in theaters too, because I saw it before. I saw Sinners opening night in theaters, and it was before anything kind of came out of it. So I didn't know it was to be a musical. I was like, "Holy shit, that's a musical! Like it's a musical!" I was like, I remember seeing that, and I saw Sinners 3 times in theaters. And I remember seeing it the first time, and I was like, "Nice!" And I was like, it's a musical? I was like, this is so cool. And I remember taking like my cousin to see the movie in theaters, and he's very similar to me. And before the huge like "I Lied to You" song, I remember hitting his leg and be like, "Buddy, just wait."
Nah.
I'm glad you brought up Sinners though, because like I think you could draw like some parallels. Like obviously Variety tried to tank Sinners and act like it wasn't
Yeah.
successful, but also Ryan Coogler sort of like got the ability to make the movie that he wanted to see, right?
Yes.
And he's like, I trust that my vision is like strong and that there is going to be an audience for it, and you need to make the thing that you want to see, because like otherwise like you're always going to sort of like be beholden to the audience's expectations. And like fortunately for him, Variety couldn't stop the momentum of that film because it was that good. And you see a lot of like old Hollywood intelligence on display in that film as well. Of course, we mentioned like sort of like the dual role capabilities, the musical components, and like the dancing, and sort of being willing to like really appreciate all of the different aspects of cinema and be like, how do I sort of compress all the things that I love about this into one shared space, right? And also have something to say with the thing that I'm doing rather than just making it like a popcorn flick, right? So both of those movies do that really, really well.
Both Warner Brothers, right?
Yes. Wait, yes.
Okay.
Nick, I love that you say that because I'm not gonna lie, I've been really confused for a while as to these interviews that I'm seeing with Maggie and Ryan. And I'm like, I don't hate, like I love it. I'm here for it. Yes.
Yeah.
And like there's something, I'm like, what's happening here? And I don't know if it is just, like-minded creators, or if he's like scooping her up or they're scooping each other up, and there's this camaraderie behind like, hey, like I see you did the thing that you wanted to do, and I'm gonna like wrap like myself and my team around you, because I know what it like what that pushback feels like, or if they have some other things under their belt. But I've been seeing a lot of like collaboration press wise between the two of them. I'm like, oh, this is beautiful, this is interesting, I don't understand. But you saying that just now, I'm like, oh, okay, that tracks. Okay. So that interesting little tidbit, and thank you.
Well, Stephanie, who we heard from earlier in the audio clip, she had texted me and she was like, "Were you getting like Sinners vibe from the movie?" And I was like, "Well, funny you mentioned that, because I feel like there are a lot of cinematic parallels." And I joined a local film club out here in LA, not to get sidetracked too much, but the first movie that was brought to the table for discussion was Sinners. And so in having like a real life in-person conversation about that, what I was sort of trying to like ascertain from everybody else, I was like, we see like the Spielbergs and the Nolans and like sort of Villeneuve with Dune and stuff like that. We see, or James Cameron with Avatar, right? We see that big budget blockbuster like auteur cinema has sort of been like a closed club. So the fact that like Ryan Coogler could come in and be like, look, I'm shooting on 70 millimeter. I know my fucking film history, right? We're going to switch aspect ratios in the middle of the movie, which The Bride also does, by the way. So like the fact that you can sort of like kick down the door on like what the rules are for like event cinema by filmmakers with like big ideas, that might be sort of the reason why we've seen a little bit more closeness from them. So like you're kind of they're rewriting the way that hopefully the Hollywood landscape is going to look, and this might be like the last opportunity for I don't know, is it going to be Paramount now, right? This maybe the last
I was going to say that
to make that.
Yeah, I was saying this is going to be I think that Sinners and The Bride are going to be talked about like that. They will be the last two movies that I can think of in the upcoming slate under the new Paramount Warner Brothers, Ellison, whatever. I think these are going to be the last two that are going to be like that. And I think the reflection of that, like in decades to come, even years to come, they're like, oh yeah, these were incredibly special because now everything is like going to be very bum by the numbers.
Yeah. I mean, as the studio system begins to get like cannibalized by all these sort of like company, I think what 5 guys own like the top like 5 media companies in the world or something like that. We had a movie like Mercy come out with Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson that, from like what I gathered from it, I didn't see it yet, so I can't like judge, but it's got a very like pro-authoritarianism message, and I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, so like, is this the direction that we're really heading in, where we're going to take like bankable stars and be like, yeah, good authoritarianism, you guys will like this if we give it to you in movie form? So the fact that movies like this can like stand up while there's still time, and the fact that the three of you decided to join me for this, I think says that like independent cinema is going to be a very important voice for the future of not just movies, but I think like all storytelling, because everything is becoming so like homogenized and so corporate that we're not going to have the kind of voices like this to actually like tell the stories. So thank you all for being here.
Go to your local film festivals and see the movies that aren't being made for money. Just do yourself a favor and go.
Yes, I second that with all my badges behind. Like, I second that. Yes, go to film festivals.
Well, let's take a look at what Kit Stone had to say. Kit's a friend of the show. Says, I am the bride truther, and I shan't be silenced. It's as messy and mesmerizing or it's as messy as it is mesmerizing, anchored by 2 electric performances from Bale and Buckley. Get into it. So I was in a discussion space with Kit on Saturday, I think before she had seen it, and someone in that space was like very much like the bride sucks, it's horrible. And I was like, don't listen to him. I was like, if you want to see it, go see it. I was like, trust me, don't trust this, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that like Kit was in that space in the morning. I don't know if I encouraged her. She probably went and saw it on her own, to be fair. But I'm glad that like she came away from it and came back saying like, hey, I'm a truther. And I'm like, yes, we got another one. Like we're slowly building the numbers up. So we needed Rhodes podcast said, really enjoyed Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride. It's not perfect, it's tonally all over the place and falters in the latter half, but it's a massively fun film. And of course, Bale and Buckley are superb as expected. So this like has nuance, right? It's like, hey, I'm not like 100% all in on this, but the one thing I wanted to ask you about was the it's a massively fun film, because I've seen complaints that the movie's not fun, and I'm like, are you
What?
Right?
are
I'm
you
like,
s- are
I'm
you
like, what's your
serious?
definition of fun? Because I'm confused.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so apparent that not only is Maggie having fun, but both Jesse and Christian are having a lot of fun doing this. I mean, Frankenstein gets his dick sucked. There's a flash mob
right.
in the middle of like a big Hollywood party. They go clubbing, and in the middle of all of that, like she's getting felt up before like Frankenstein curb stomps somebody. And then in that scene, we go from like 1930s to Chicago, and then all of a sudden, like pink and blue just like hits the scene, and I'm just like, oh, I was like, I love it. And one of you mentioned earlier about like the need to sort of like get ahead of the movie, right? Like you're trying to solve a magic trick or
Yes.
something, and it's like, look, I'm an analytical thinker. I've seen a lot of movies. When a movie is maybe not operating like on a high frequency, those thoughts will sort of creep in. It's like, okay, I can kind of see where this is going, because logically, like this is what probably should happen given the math that's in front of me. However, not once during this movie did I ever think about the ending. I was
Ah,
like, I don't want the
No.
movie to end. I'm not thinking about when it's
No.
going to be over. I'm just having a great time, and I just want to keep going.
facts.
Yeah.
Like I never thought about it being over. There were a couple of times, like also, and he got her name, whatever name, tattooed on his chest. It was
Yeah.
fun, but there was a point where they're driving and the cop like Phil is feeling Jesse up, and like it was giving Bonnie and Clyde. I'm like, Maggie, not now, not now. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't give me the Bonnie and Clyde shootout right now. I know it's going to happen. I feel like it's going to happen, but don't. And I was glad that it didn't happen then. And then I forgot about it. And then I was like, oh my God, here it is.
Yeah.
It was great. I was like, I completely forgot that I even had that thought. So Nick's saying same in terms of not thinking about the ending, and her pulling me back into the movie and out of my own filmmaker storyteller brain, where I was having so much fun that I forgot that I even had that thought, and until she like shoved it in my face. And I was like, oh wait.
Yeah.
And when we got to the dinner party, and it's apparent, okay, we're gonna play into the trope of we'll pretend to be the waiters, and I'm sitting there in the theater thinking, there's no way you could possibly get away with this in any shape or form. You guys are so apparently like dead.
But that part was interesting to me too, because I saw that part and I said to my wife, I was like, it's funny to look at how high society doesn't notice like the help, so much so that they didn't notice their monsters. Like, oh yeah, whatever, just grabbing it.
The confidence.
And I was like,
She's
dude,
like, yep.
exactly. Yeah, they're like, they're just like whatever, just didn't even like pay attention to them. But yeah, I love that part, and I was like laughing at that part too. It was so they just kept looking at each other across the room. I absolutely love that part.
Yeah, it's a nice pushback against sort of elitism on both fronts, because it's like we're seeing the mob boss who like runs the city, so it's like that's kind of like politically elitist, where it's like that is the guy controlling things. Like we're not dealing with like the mayor, right? And then we see, the actors and like the high society Hollywood, and like you said, they don't even notice until, and then so like when Stephanie was talking about that sequence in her audio clip about how this becomes like this giant like flash mob, and you sort of think it's Frank sort of imagining how things are going, but really it's like spilled over into reality. So like you take a trope that you've seen before. We've seen Frank fantasize about himself on the screen and in these situations. So to then have it like just be this like very sort of like rigid and rugged dance in front of everybody that ends the way that it does, really, I mean, like, again, I want to watch it again. I can't help it. We should all go see it again after
I'm down.
The
Oscar win.
masterful scene, like
Pinky promise, we'll all go see it again.
Yes. Are we all in LA or where? Like
I'm in LA.
No, we're Canada.
West Coast.
Canada.
West Coast.
Go ahead. Lucky at the moment.
Yeah. I talk to a lot of Canadians, surprisingly. So, I mean, like, we just tend to vibe because, like, these guys are cool. So, of course.
I get
it. So, John Squires, who I'm friendly with, nice guy, says, The Bride didn't fully work for me, but it's the kind of fresh vision I'm glad to see make it out of the studio system. Jessie Buckley is electric, and her Bride is one of the most striking reinventions of a classic monster. A bright, shining star and a big, bold swing of a film. I think
Come on, John.
That's totally fair, I think.
No one can say anything bad about Jessie Buckley. Sorry.
Hello?
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, you shouldn't. This is Ablas from Threads, where I found a lot more positivity. Let's just put it that way. That I watched The Bride today, and y'all really chose to just not enjoy or even tolerate female perspectives, and it shows on your reviews. Christian Bale was gorgeous as the creature, and I love how people is casting beautiful, tall men to play him with such tenderness and love inside them. Just gorgeous. I know I'll be looking back in 30 years saying, damn, isn't Jessie Buckley the best actress to ever exist? To me, she's giving the best of Daniel Day-Lewis, and he's like the actual GOAT.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
I saw positive like pushback against The Bride on Threads as well. There's a couple of threads that were put out there about Maggie lost $90 million in the box office and and there were so many people chiming in and commenting like, excuse me, what are you talking about? Give it time. You did try to do the same thing with Sinners, like, hey, slow your roll. It's like, yes, thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my sort of very anecdotal observational research here, all I did was go to like the search feature and type it in and see what popped up. I had seen stuff over the course of the week and stuff as well. But when I posted something positive about The Bride, there was like some positive in the comments. And then people were like, really? Like, are those people that like the movie in the room with us? And so there were some like assholes, of course, in there because like that's, what they're going to do. And I'm like, yes, if you actually got off of Twitter, you might find that there is positivity elsewhere in the world outside of this toilet. Movie watching girl says The Bride is a decadent, hyper-stylized gothic fever dream from Maggie Gyllenhaal that boldly reimagines Bride of Frankenstein through a fiercely feminist lens. It's messy, ambitious, sometimes bursting at the seams with ideas, but I love the swing. Jessie Buckley and Christian Bale are ferocious together, romantic, chaotic, electric.
I mean, I do think that's the one when I came out of the film, the one thing I could describe it as is a big swing. It was entirely ambitious. There was so much going through, and for me, it's a swing and a hit, like absolutely. But you have to appreciate the actual ambition to go for it.
If I can use since we're talking about swings, this baseball analogy, I'm going to take it all the way to its natural conclusion. All right. So in baseball, you have foul poles on each side, right? But you also have umpires. So to me, this is a swing that connected and was probably a home run, but ruled a foul ball by the umpires.
I love that.
That's
really good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I grew up watching baseball, so I was like, yeah, we got to go.
It's really good analogy.
Emily Marie 82_ says The Bride is fucking incredible. I seriously don't know how any other movie this year is going to top this one. M. Gyllenhaal and the Jessie Buckley created this powerful and stunning film that you are definitely going to want to catch in the cinema. I want to see it like 10 more times.
Yes, Emily.
Not just in cinema, but in IMAX. See it in IMAX.
Yeah. Seeing it in IMAX was like really, really worked for me.
Yeah, we sort of touched on it very, very briefly because we've been going so fast. But yes, so I specifically looked into like, okay, I know it's showing in IMAX, but it doesn't always mean it's IMAX. But
Mhm.
Maggie, being very intentional about her choices here, is like, no, we're gonna have the aspect ratio open up, so you're gonna be able to take advantage of the IMAX screen, and like that is a decided choice that has to happen in the collaborative process, and it's it's expensive to shoot on IMAX, like just it is. So I love that, seeing the movie in IMAX actually gives you sort of like the rewarding nature of like a fuller cinematic experience, like in the same way that Sinners chose to utilize that to really open up particular scenes in the film. Watching it at home, like you can tell that it does change, but it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Get Bent Love on Me says, I just saw The Bride. This is what going to the movies is supposed to feel like. A film that fully uses the screen, visually rich,
Hey.
emotionally sharp, and
Mhm.
incredible to listen to. Every scene feels thoughtfully made, and there are so many small, clever moments woven throughout. And the vocabulary, my God, this is the kind of movie I'm definitely going to watch over and over again. And then we've got another one connected to this. Meg Conley. Every negative review of The Bride is brimming with the comparisons that make it sound like the best movie ever. A few examples, like a Beetlejuice Joker, buckets of blood, unhinged acting from Jesse Buckley. Like, where do I fucking
Yeah,
sign up?
I fully
Yes.
agree with that. I'm like, that's
Where
like
do
the
I
negative reviews
sign
we're
up?
hearing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Those sound like fun ideas.
I agree. So like those are all great sale pitches to me.
Yes.
Okay, so this is Misfit Cinema Journal. The Bride certainly isn't a movie for everyone. Leaving the AMC Lincoln Square IMAX yesterday, all I heard were people complaining about the movie, calling it incoherent or all over the place tonally, making fun of the performances and not understanding any of the references. The Bride is a movie in conversation with 100 years of Frankenstein movies, all while doing its own thing, but it is wall-to-wall references to other Frankenstein films. Most of the normies out there just won't get it. And so,
Hey.
so for me, as like I've seen some Frankenstein movies, right? I've not read the novel. So like I don't know if any of you are like dialed in on Frankenstein, but
Me,
I would
me.
say okay, well we'll go to you, but I would say that me basically I'm the normies in here, and like even me not getting any of it, I'm like I don't care about any of that. Honestly, like I know who Frankenstein is. That's good enough for what I need to know for this
Yeah.
movie.
You can separate all of the Frankenstein references from the movie, and it is still an incredible movie. But they were brave enough to do Putting on the Ritz and just
That was
throwing back
crazy.
to Young Frankenstein, which is such a treat to people. And I read the book, and I know that Frankenstein is supposed to talk, and the old movies he doesn't talk, and the bride of Frankenstein was actually, the Bride of Frankenstein, the character of the Bride of Frank was then in it for only like 10-20 minutes. So there's so much that to be explored in that Frankenstein universe, and it's a very conversational book. It's a very ex- huge exploration of relationship dynamics and family dynamics, and even that the monster wants a companion and is uh, dying to get a companion and will hunt his father to the ends of the earth just for this end. It like there's a rich history in Frankenstein lore that was pulled out, but wasn't even necessary,
Mhm.
really, because this movie took such such liberties. But as a Frankenstein uh, lover, I was just given all that and more.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Right.
I feel like it's the kind of attention to detail that sort of like it goes into the background and probably like most people won't notice because like I'm not picking up on everything. But just because people won't notice doesn't mean it's not worth the attention to detail. And that is something that in this film shares very closely with Sinners, is that like the attention to what's happening beyond what's in the center of the frame is fantastic. And like if you get it, great, you're gonna get it. If you don't, like you can sort of gloss over it and the rest of the movie's still gonna be good. So let's
Why
go.
it's so hard
Oh
to
yeah, go
hear
for it.
it called messy, right? Because it's not messy, it's ambitious, but everything is meticulous in her references, in the performances, in like it's specific.
Well,
I
Yeah.
love that you bring that up, Topher, because messy, there's certain words that have a negative connotation. And like
100%.
messy isn't always bad. Like they're like people love a messy bun. Like what I'm
Yeah.
like, what? Like there are certain messy like things that are supposed to be messy and it's great because it's messy. Pizza can be messy. Like there's food that is like you're gonna eat it, it's fucking messy, but you love it, don't you? You love that it's messy. So like why are you like that connection for me doesn't fit. Sometimes I'm like, okay, yes, it's fucking messy. Let's go. I'm here for it.
Well, you'd think
It's
It's a
similar
good
to the word weird for me in the same way. Like in the same way, like the way that a lot of the reviews are calling it messy, I'm like, I don't agree with that. Like I think I referred to it as messy too, but I meant to like the way I refer to thing is weird. Like I loved it for those reasons. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a connection to both of what you said and what you said, Alyssa. Just like the connection of both there that I can see the term messy, but at the same time, yeah, I do really like the term messy for the same reasons, I believe.
I feel you.
it's a celebration of messy.
Yes.
It goes in
Yes.
a lot of different places. It's very eclectic. I think that's a fairer word. But in terms of messy, it's actually quite specific and meticulous.
Yeah.
And that's
It's also
the
life
point
is messy. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I would say that, you know, if you were to sort of look at a Jackson Pollock painting, you'd be like, that's messy. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like Jackson Pollock is considered to be a great painter because the intent that went into the mess is what mattered. And so I
Mhm.
think similarly here, like intent is really important when it comes to art. And so I'm fascinated by like why artists make things. And so that's sort of like always what I'm trying to get to when sort of watching something. But let's take a look at this. Yay, I'm a llama again. One of the most serious, unserious movies I've seen in my life. At some point while I was watching, I had to force myself to stop wondering what it all meant. Better just shut off your brain and enjoy the absurdity and performances. The last shot of the film, I heard the chains rattling and I knew the song immediately. Cemented my belief this movie is goofy as hell in the best way possible. Can't wait to watch it again and see how I feel about it, knowing what I'm getting into.
Mm.
I love the curiosity there and the
Yeah.
understanding that like you're sort of in a conversation with the movie that is going to require some questions and some introspection as well.
And some revisiting.
Yeah, yeah.
The kind
Uh,
of movie that forces you to trust the direction.
A
oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Josh Roush. Says ambitiously strange, crazy sexy, nerdy as fuck, and fiscally irresponsible.
oh,
I adored The Bride. My only regret is I wish I had also went Thursday to help its box office numbers. Cheers to Maggie and choosing to die on the coolest, weirdest hill you could possibly imagine. Gutsy fucking filmmaking and endlessly enjoyable. I like the
yeah.
fiscally irresponsible. It's my favorite.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
I mean, if someone gave me $90 million to make the movie I wanted to make, like, it's gonna be
I'm gonna
insane.
I'm gonna spend every penny. Like every
Yeah.
penny. I barely like I sometimes like my friends and like my closest circle joke, they're like, Alyssa, do you understand budget? I'm like, no. Like I do, but no. What's that?
Who needs it?
Right?
Okay, let's take a look at The Nerdist. Says, having watched The Bride, we can share that it's a movie clearly made by someone who loves movies. The camera adores Jessie Buckley, who shines, and her character sweeps you off your feet into a lush gothic romance. Christian Bale's Frank does Frankenstein's monster full justice and will tug at all your heartstrings. This movie is what going to the theater is all about. I agree.
100% agree.
Yeah.
10-10.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Great shots.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Samantha Mean says this movie was a hell of a lot of fun and absolutely beautiful. I'm also fully and completely obsessed with Jessie Buckley. She is just spectacular in this. Well, she is.
She stole the show. She really did.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. I did see somewhere someone said Annette Bening like steals every scene she's in. I mean, like, well, I mean, she's fantastic.
I loved Annette Bening's character.
She was a
Someone said
great
that she
inclusion.
didn't get enough. Yeah, people said
Yeah.
that she didn't get. Someone said that she didn't get enough time on screen, and I was like, I thought she had like an appropriate time on screen. I thought she did great. That actually ties into. I can't remember who said it. I think you were saying it about the pseudonym part.
Yeah.
That ties into that about like women writing under males' names, like how Frank originally thought she was a man for that. I thought that was I thought that was really cool too. Yeah, I loved Annette Bening's character. That's just
Detail.
fantastic. Just I don't know, but I thought that was I loved the scenes of when they came back and she had the makeup on of the bride.
Yes.
That was so cool.
The way the scream I screamed, I was like, yes!
Yeah, I thought that was
Jeannie
really
Berlin,
cool.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Jeannie, I fucked it up. Okay, well, let's take a look at this one from Tori Lotzer says, and this is how you make a movie. Well done, Maggie. I'd prefer not to. These are all in quotes. I'd rather have been called something else. She said no. Scared? Till the end of time. The Bride was pure art. I've never seen anything quite like it, and I already know I'll be back to see it again. Jessie Buckley is in a league of her own, her voice, everything. I spent the whole film smiling in awe of her magic. Let's keep making movies like that. Incredible. The themes of the movie, obsessed. I also had a shit-eating grin on my face the whole time.
Same.
Almost. I cried a couple of times, but I was like, oh man, I love being at a movie like this where I'm just like, I'm enjoying it so much, like I just can't stop smiling. I don't know.
I already saw tattoos of it on Threads too, and I love that. Already, like last week I did. I was really, I love that.
It's that kind of movie. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Stonehands 211 says, saw The Bride today. This was something else, an incredible piece of filmmaking. The most unfortunate thing about it is that the screenplay is not on the level of anyone else behind or in front of this project. It's such a mess, but a wonderful mess, in my opinion. It's not a good movie, but it's a good time in a lot of different places. Buckley already in the running for best performance of the year here. She's a tour de force, and I'd argue the most exciting actor working today. This film has the second best something that I did not include. I think a mostly positive view of it. I'm not opposed to what the screenplay is doing here because I feel like some people get hung up on plot, right? Like the plot has to make sense. And I think like when you're telling a story that is dependent on the plot making sense, then like, yeah, you kind of have to do that. I think in something like this, I have enough of a guideline.
Yes.
Like, in a blizzard, you just have like a rope that like leads you where you need to go and you just have to trust the rope. And so I feel like, I get enough of a guideline from Maggie here to just like keep following the rope to get where I need to go. And this is at least like takes the negativity out of mess, but has to clarify specifically that I mean mess in a good way, right? So
yes, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Okay.
I do want to read this script. I want to because it must have been built with the intention of going through all of these different scenes, and that's so impressive to me.
Yeah, having a nice like hardcover version of that, like in a couple of years when it gets, its boutique reappraisal in 5 years. One of these that I read somewhere is like people are going to see this on streaming and right here, the one that I'm literally looking at. How about I just read that? John M. Chadwick. I'm good at segues. A lot of people are going to discover The Bride on streaming in a couple of months and then wish they'd seen it in a theater. It's absolutely my favorite movie so far this year. Jessie Buckley is a gift. And so like that whole thing about the notion that these things will go to streaming is like, this is a cinema movie, right? Like this is a movie that is best served in the cinema experience. Granted, everybody around you is not a schmuck. This is the kind of thing that you want to see in the theater. And I think it is the kind of thing too, where, way down the line in the future, we're going to see sort of like rescreenings of this. And, if it carries enough weight towards the end of the year, it could be one of those movies where it's like the Academy loves it for some reason, but like the public hates it. And so like we get to see it again at the end of the year, which would be hilarious just to be like, hey, all you people that hated it, like, yeah. Tough shit.
I would be so upset to watch this on streaming with a friend and just looking over and catching them on their phone scrolling.
Right.
Like,
Oh yeah, that would
I would
kill
throw
me.
someone's phone.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so like, no, don't come over to my house and watch a movie that I love, that I'm like, and I love you and I'm excited about. Oh no, there will be lots of words
Yeah.
and broken phones.
We keep a cell scrambler in the couch over here. Okay, let's go to Fat Girl Views Show. It says The Bride is absolutely my favorite movie of the year so far. Everything about it was very much my style. The dark coming of age, feral I am a woman, hear me roar story that spoke to every part of me, and the dark romance had enough yearning in it to make me swoon. Jesse Buckley, that display you put on, 10 out of 10. Give this woman of things. Safe to say, I had a time with some fire emojis and a rose and diamond. So I love it.
Wait,
This
what's the
is that
picture?
scene that I was talking
Yeah.
about with the pink and blue. I mean, these are like the
Yes.
flagship colors of my show art too. So it's like it all of a sudden like just transitions to like this timeless moment where it's like everything is very coded for the 1930s and like before that, even with the older Hollywood black and white stuff that we see going on. So for this to like sort of jump all the way into like the 80s, I think is a really cool way to sort of like give us an era specific look in
Mm.
just like one moment in the film.
You can tell Maggie Gyllenhaal loves movies.
She does.
It's
Oh, yeah.
so apparent.
It's almost like she's been doing this for a long time and she's good at it. Okay. Open My Eyes to Blue says The Bride is basically a 2-hour tribute to Jessie Buckley's stunning face and immeasurable talent. The film should be on her acting reel, her dating profile, and her application to be president. What a divine creature, The Bride movie. Love it. There's one that I think buried because I had to go look for it. So I'm gonna try and like speed run as many of these as I can. Bunny Poop
Really funny.
says if you don't like The Bride, I'm just gonna assume you're a cop.
I love that so much.
That's a
Nice.
good one.
I love
Yeah. Movie watching girl also had another one. Says most reviewers are male, so I'm not shocked they didn't understand the feminist fever dream.
I
She's
agree with
not
that.
wrong. BJ Colangelo. Seeing people deriding The Bride for being too heavy-handed in its feminist messaging on the same day the Hollywood Reporter releases an interview with Harvey Weinstein from prison is giving me whiplash.
Ah! Lovely.
Yep.
Wow. Yes. She said what she said.
Nailed it. Okay. S. Goldsmee. Whatevs. The Bride is wild, beautiful, messy, and anchored by 2 banger, go for broke lead performances. Really glad Maggie got to take such a big swing. Feels like we're at the end of a time where filmmakers will be allowed to try such mad things with big budgets, but hopefully I'm
Yes.
wrong. Dia to go. Having just come from watching The Bride, it has been a very long time since I've seen that level of visual feast, plot, character work. Truly a triumph that I will absolutely watch again and again. Well done, Maggie. And then, here's a good one.
Hey, go ahead. Very on brand.
This is a good one about Frankenstein. When Mary Shelley, this is Myra Diaz Gomez. When Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein in 1816, she wasn't just inventing a monster, she was writing about the consequences of creating life and then abandoning it. In the novel, the lonely creature begs for a companion, but the bride is destroyed before she can ever live. The movie asks what might have happened if she did, but this time the story isn't just about creating her, it's about what she becomes once she actually exists. Thank you, The Bride, Warner, etc. I love that one.
That speaks to it just perfectly.
Okay, Buttermoth 13. I love these names. Finally went to see The Bride today. It was such an amazing film. Jessie Buckley was incredible, and I was so stoked to see Annette Bening and Jeannie Berlin in it too. They were so good and played 2 of my favorite characters, legends. The movie also felt so inherently queer, considering it a large part of it was a straight love story. I'm absolutely obsessed. I saw one that I didn't include that at somewhere in my scrolling was like, this is going to be like a favorite like go-to gay movie at some point in the future. So interesting to see that echoed here. This is the one that I was looking for though before I close it out. Rebarabon Bon? Rebarabon Bon? Close enough. My favorite aspect of The Bride is that it's not actually about the Frankenstein story. It's about Mary Shelley's story. But because Frankenstein left such an impact on the world, you cannot tell her story without Frankenstein. It has so many subtle nods to Mary Shelley, her life, her beliefs, and her relationship to men, to Percy, to her own status as a woman. Maggie Gyllenhaal clearly is very knowledgeable on Shelley and Wollstonecraft. That's why Mary is the narrator of the film. That's the one that we're going to close out on. Oh, wait, I have one from a friend too, I think, that's here somewhere. Hold on, I'm going to scroll over these. There it is. Okay, this is from my friend V from the Movies You Missed podcast. I love The Bride. Jessie Buckley was magnificent. Everything was impeccable, from the set design of the costumes to Jessie playing multiple characters. I had to keep reminding myself that Mary was also played by her because it was such a distinctive performance. I love that feminist message and even the nod to other Frankenstein movies, including putting it in the Ritz.
There it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
There it is. So I promise you we're going to get to that picture. So before we do that, though, so the only two things that I really do on this show that are like the tent poles are, number one, given that this has a 60.1 right now out of 100, I want to know, like, what do you see in like 5 years, 10 years for this movie? Does that number go up or does it go down over time?
Up.
Look, the hatred of the movie is so shallow. We've gone through the good reviews, we've gone through the bad reviews, and the bad reviews, it's a flicker in time. They watched it, they'll forget about it, they'll move on, they'll go watch Avengers. But the people who search it out and see it with that kind of like clear-headed hindsight will actually be able to appreciate it, I hope. And I think we're just going to see it become like it's already becoming a cult classic in real time, but I think we're just going to see that grow.
I think they're going to be talking about this in like universities, and they're going to be talking about this in like classes, and I think that film students are going to bring this up as their thesis. I think that filmmakers in the future are going to talk about how this movie inspired them. I can just see that sort of message for it forever. It's going to be, it's like a modern movie that's like cinephiles will talk about too. Like it's just one of those movies, right? That I can't see the conversation of it ever dying, and it's gonna be a love it or hate it, but there's gonna be a conversation about it forever.
It's almost like catching lightning in a bottle. It's one of like, and Joel 10-10 agree, like Topher 10-10 agree. And over time, there's going to be larger conversations about it. People are going to have to see it 1 or 2 times, 1, 2, 3 times, like to really grasp what's happening, and like dive into it more and pick it apart and be like, wait, oh my God, I missed this. I missed that. Like, what? Yeah.
I like lightning in a bottle, given the fact that lightning is so sort of tied to the Frankenstein franchise. So I think that's a very apropos way to put it. And I think with streaming will help a lot because more people will be able to experience with like less of a barrier of entry.
Mhm.
And so typically, stuff will find its audience over time. So I feel like, once we begin to enter like reappraisal territory, especially probably beyond, I want to say probably beyond a year, we'll start to see more people that are discovering it at home. And that's when you're going to be like, oh, wow, like how did I sort of miss this? And then it'll get the cult classic momentum. And then we'll see on sort of the anniversary dates where it begins to pick up. And I mean, as soon as this hits like physical media this year, like grab a hold of that 4K Ultra as soon as you can and stash it because this one's coming back around. You're gonna get whiplash from it. I hate to tell you if you hated it, but it's coming back around.
We're gonna see so many YouTube video essays. It's gonna be unreal.
Right?
Oh, I am already plotting around doing a reaction and a review and doing all the things, and I don't care if my audience doesn't like it or not. I do, and it's my channel, so this is what we're doing.
Yeah, and so down the line, remember that you heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the last thing I want to get from you is like I don't really do ratings, but I found a rating system that I kind of like for this. So it's the hate it or love it, like it, bump it or dump it rating. So realistically, I mean, you could choose whatever you want. Love it. Not a bad choice. I loved it. I also would say bump it because I want to play it again. So,
Oh, bump it. Now I get it. I thought you meant like bump it to the side. Like,
yeah.
what? Okay, got it.
It's from a Nas song, so I was
I
like,
get it. No,
you
no, I
know.
get it. The math is mathing.
The fact that we're here, it clearly means that we're all willing to bump it, and we want everybody else in on the conversation with it. So I'm gonna give it a solid bump it, love it, all that. I'll raise it from the dead if I have to.
Yes, Topher.
Nice.
Only with consent.
Yes. Now that I understand the rating system, I'm going to bump it, and I actively texting girlfriends of mine. I'm like, "You want to see The Bride? I'm going again." Like one of my girlfriends was just like, "I've been dying to. Yes, please." Because there was a moment, and I'm about to do it right now too, because I have a little bladder where I literally took my I was wearing heels. I took my heels off and I ran out of the theater, like, to go use the restroom and come back. Like, my friend turned to me like, "Yo, I have never seen you move so fast." I'm like, "Well, now I have to see it again." Because he's like, "You didn't miss much." I'm like, "I don't care. I missed something." And so on that, I will be right back. Sorry, I'm going to miss your rating, Joel.
It's all good. I say bump it. I absolutely loved it. I can't wait to rewatch it. I just realized like I said, I'm trying to go see a movie every week. I don't see what else I'm probably going to see this weekend, so this is probably what I'm going to watch again. Yeah, I absolutely loved it.
Well, Alyssa is gone temporarily. I want to give you both the opportunity just to, like, plug whatever. Where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you? Where do they send the hate mail for the people that hated The Bride and want to give you a piece of their mind? They send it to nick@thesheist.com, and I will filter it all out. But where can they find you?
You can find me at West Coast Strange on Instagram and on Facebook, mainly just Instagram, to be honest. Yeah, that and also my website of the same name, West Coast Strange, or my other professional website, joelhbrewster.com.
And where can people find your movie? Is it?
Oh, my shorts and my movies? I got a film on Amazon.
Yeah, you got one on Amazon.
Yeah, I got it. That's right. I got a movie on Amazon, Dill Rock Love
Someone
6
bearing the
It's on
lead?
Amazon. Yeah, and outside of that, I've got shorts on YouTube, and I have audio shorts on Spotify. So yeah,
awesome.
All over the place.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram with Bad Cookie Pictures. I would say all of my shorts are on YouTube, and that's probably the best place to find me. So Bad Cookie Pictures. I worked with Joel on several of them, so go check out The Revenge of Mary Sue. Go check out Man in the Rabbit Mask. Well, yeah, check us out.
Hell yeah.
And Alyssa, I know that we're sort of just like meeting, for like the first time today, but yeah, where can we find you?
Yes, so on Instagram you can find me at Alyssa Brayboy. On the TikTok, I call it TikTok. You can find me at That One Reaction Girl. Same thing on YouTube at That One Reaction Girl. On my YouTube, it's a mix of like, because I have a production company as well. It's called Buttons because we push them. And so like my reaction channel and my production company have kind of merged because I already had a following, and I was like, fuck it, there's too many things. So like my short, Sugar, is on my YouTube. Different podcasts that I've been a part of are on my YouTube. And I'm currently working on a documentary right now. It's The Sex Worker's Guide to Parenting. We're finishing that up. And so, Sugar's my biggest baby right now, as well as the doc. And so all of that, even like the trailer, the proof of concept for all of that is on my YouTube. And I am most active on my TikTok of the same, at That One Reaction Girl.
Awesome. Well,
yes.
For anybody that listened to this and had a good time with us, definitely check out all those resources. I'm going to include everything in the show notes.
I just saw the picture.
Oh yeah, here's the picture.
Yeah, I was like waiting for your reaction. I was like waiting this whole time. I was like, is she not
I was looking at Nick, and then my eyes wandered, and I was like, oh my God.
I was waiting for your reaction so bad. I was like sitting here quietly. I was like, okay, just kind of see it too.
No, I'm going to get that frame somehow and put that on my office wall, because I'm getting some art made right now specifically for the office, and it's Sinners, it's Secretary, it's Filth Element, and now The Bride made it up there, and this is fan-fucking-tastic. Nick, thank you so much. This is amazing.
I don't know who to credit for the photo. It's from Britannica.com, so who knows?
I'm obsessed. I'm going to find a way to frame it.
Yeah, it was an awesome photo. I just want to thank you all for just sharing your time and your thoughts. It was really nice to get a full sort of spectrum look at this, and to share in the joy of it with some other people who really actually loved it and didn't get trapped with the sort of negative reaction to it early on. I'm not the kind of person that sort of is scared away by negative reviews. I'm like, oh, it's the worst movie ever. Well, sign me up.
Let me learn. Yes.
Yeah. So if you have a healthy appetite for discomfort, I would say definitely check it out. Just, I mean, if you like Jesse Buckley and Christian Bale, you're gonna get your money's worth. And don't listen to the naysayers. So thank you all so much, and please have a good rest of your evening.
Yay! Thank you.
A huge thank you to Topher, Joel, and Alyssa. I really had so much fun during this discussion that I want to do more filmmaker panels, and it's really great to know I'm not alone in my love for The Bride. If you had a good time, make sure you check out the show notes so you can see where to find Joel, Alyssa, and Topher. I'm hoping to get at least one of these done per month, but hopefully more. I've got a few lined up right now, and I'm just going to keep the ball rolling. So until next time, stay well, watch movies, and take care.